And welcome back, folks. And I told you we had a second guest coming on, and this is a serious topic. You know, Dwight and I kind of joked around, although tickets to the Glenn Miller concert are that's important, and that is serious in the support we do for the arts. But this is really a serious problem, which is becoming more and more prevalent in today's society. So I have Reba Terry from The Bridge, and explain to everybody what The Bridge is before we get started.
Okay, we're our local organization comprised of just community members, leaders, wanting to make a difference in this area. We raise awareness about the opioid epidemic as well as substance abuse in general. And we're helping folks also to find treatment if they're looking for that, for the person themselves or for a family member. And then also we connect folks with services after recovery to help them to sustain that.
Yeah, sustainability is very important after that. And I'm not sure, surely everybody has read the paper, heard on TV, heard on the radio, seen it on social media, how big an epidemic the opioid situation is.
It is. Let me just tell them, in case they hadn't been paying attention, maybe they've been under a rock for a while.
Evidently they have to be.
We don't have the numbers for 2018 yet, but 2017, nationwide, we lost almost 200 people a day.
Oh, wow, a day.
A day. That's equivalent to a jetliner crashing every day in America. In Bradley County, we lost 37 people in 2017. Ooh. Now, you must also know that these numbers are underreported because the numbers come from death certificates. And often a death certificate may say heart failure.
Right.
Or respiratory failure.
Right.
It doesn't always say overdose.
Right. And so, which the overdose can cause either of those other two conditions. But yes, I see where we may be underestimated there.
Yes. And suicide is also on the rise along with overdose, and it's impossible to determine, was it suicide, was it accidental overdose, was it intentional? So that's another factor that is in there. So when you look at the incidences of overdose increasing, you'll also see right along with that trend is the rise in suicide.
And I have a dear friend whose grandson died right before Christmas. And it was a drug-related death, but they don't know whether it was intentional or unintentional. And and you know, the sad thing about that is the family is dealing with, could I have done? Should I have done? No. Why did they do? And there's just so many questions that go with that. And if we can head this off at the pass before it ever gets that far, then to me that is where we need to be.
So that's the reason, and we haven't gotten there yet, but that's the reason that we start at 4th grade in our public schools to educate these children about this epidemic and help them to learn how to protect themselves and their families. Their parents, a lot of times these kids are asking questions, how can I help my parent? And we want to prevent, because this is something that's 100% preventable.
Absolutely.
If we know how to prevent this journey. So we're working very hard in our schools addressing the opioid epidemic and substance abuse. We just this school year have begun a new presentation on vaping.
Oh, okay.
So for our students who are becoming addicted to this substance, we have a really compelling presentation about vaping. So we would like to offer that to the public as well, for maybe a civic club or a church group, as well as our schools.
And I noticed the other day, it might have been a couple of weeks ago, that y'all were, I think, at Valley View.
We've been at Valley
and
View.
did a presentation with those students there. And I think you're going to, is it Mayfield School?
We went to Mayfield this past week. Yes.
All right. And because you invited me to come, and I didn't get there. I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
I'm sorry. Between my London jet lag and the U.S., the Australian Open, I don't even know where I am. But But I think, and vaping, to me, when you pointed that out, and I saw that in an article that was on social media that you all had said, I guess I didn't think that was, I guess I thought that was kind of far down the line of things. But now I realize, because we're having to address that in our high schools.
Yes, and the CDC and the Surgeon General are calling it an epidemic.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we, again, are trying to draw attention to this for students. The reason we developed this is because we were asked, because we have elementary students in our system that are vaping.
Wow.
And so we were asked to present, and so Scott has developed a really fine presentation, and it's the same presentation for fourth graders as it would be to adults. It's an amazing presentation.
Wow. Okay, so you all are available to go into schools or even other organizations.
Yeah,
If the
absolutely.
Rotary Club wanted a speaker,
Absolutely.
you all would be
Absolutely.
glad to come in and
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Now, when you go in, Reba, can you all differentiate? I mean, like, can you say, we can come in and do this presentation and we will do it on vaping, or we will do it on opioids, or we
Absolutely.
will do it on,
Yeah,
yes, okay,
yeah.
so you can,
Yes.
because
You can
most of the time,
customize it.
yeah, because most of the time people will give you 15, 20 minutes,
Right.
30 at the most to make your
Right,
presentation.
right.
So I know if you're making a presentation about something, you probably need all that 30 minutes on that one area.
I believe we could do the vaping one in probably 20 to
Oh, okay,
25
okay.
without, if we didn't have a Q&A session, you know, because sometimes that's really important to the audience, so it just kind of depends. But I think the actual presentation piece could be done in 20 minutes.
And I know you all have a website. Is that the best way
Yes.
for people to get
yes,
you?
it
Okay.
probably is.
All right.
And that's ATS, and that's Awareness, Treatment, Sustainability, thebridge.org. ATSthebridge.org.
And .org is a nonprofit organization, folks. They're 501c3, so that's why they're .org. We've talked about
Yes.
that on here before.
And we also have a Facebook presence,
Oh,
and so that's
okay.
ATS The Bridge.
Okay.
All right, so
And
you
it's
can contact me there.
ATS The Bridge.
Right. And my phone number is 423-464-4600.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay. And so if you need, and you have a committee.
We do.
Reba's not the
We-
only
no.
one doing this, although she probably could handle it by
No,
herself, but
no,
she
no,
has
no,
a great
no.
committee.
No, we
and
do.
some of the people on your committee that would be there to make presentations are,
Well, we have Scott Elam as our chairman, and he does the majority of those. We also have Bill Winters, our Bradley County Commissioner.
Right.
We have Mayor Kevin Brooks
Oh,
serves
great.
on our
Okay.
board. Steve Wright with Wright Brothers Construction Company. Dr. Dwayne Thompson from the business department at Lee. And Steve Hartline from WCLA.
great.
So we have a good group of
And
folks.
I just went last week ago, Monday, Jerry Frazier, Teddy Bryce, and I went to a meeting in Knoxville about career paths. But one of the things that we're finding out, it doesn't hardly make any difference. It does make a difference, but we do all this curriculum for our kids so that they can decide whether they want to go to college or do they want to go to a career school. But a lot of times our business people, like Steve Wright, will say to you, they can't pass the drug test.
A lot of times, that's true.
And that's a shame.
Our workforce is in trouble.
Absolutely. And-
We've not reached the pinnacle yet.
Oh, that's scary. That is
Yep.
so scary.
Yep.
And opioids, a lot of times, and I think I've shared this with you before, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Flavis had double knee replacement, and they gave him medication, pain medicine. He took one, and he said, no, no. And so then he just went to extra strength Tylenol. But a friend of ours said, on the street, you could get
Absolutely.
$75 a tablet for these. We had no idea.
Right. Yeah.
And there may be a lot of parents that have no idea.
Exactly. That's true.
And so,
And-
this
and-
is an awareness thing we need to be sure people are aware of.
And we are bringing a speaker. We had him here last spring. We're bringing him back, Tim Hilton.
Okay?
And he's going to speak about the addicted brain because we're built differently. And some person will take the same thing that your husband took and get a high like they've never had before.
Right. And want it again.
Mr. Hilton talks about the brain, and he is not a psychiatrist or a physician. This is lived experience. He knows about this. He's done a lot of study, but he presents an understandable look at this disease and how we can prevent this from happening to us and to our families. So it's going to be Thursday, February 21st at 6 o'clock. Lee University is hosting us. It will be in the Rose Lecture Hall in their education building. It's free of charge.
Fantastic.
The room holds about 300.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we are hoping to fill it up with folks who are seeking a better understanding of what's going on when their loved one is addicted.
And also, it's very tough to offer treatment if someone's not willing to have treatment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't know as a parent what you would do
Yeah, it's
about
tough.
that.
It's very tough.
And that's what's so sad, because and a lot of times these start out as experimental situations that then become addictive.
Sure. One of the things that I tell parents, because we do feel those calls, people calling, and I've got a granddaughter or a daughter, and what I encourage them to do is to take care of themselves and to learn everything they can about addiction, because part of that is, of course, knowing better how to ask questions of their loved one, but it's also disassociates a little of the blame or the self-agony around the addiction. If I had have done this, or maybe if I had have, and helping them to understand the course of addiction and the biology that's involved, just all of these things. So directing them toward support groups of parents who are in a like situation, various things, but there are things to do while you're waiting for that loved one to decide that they're ready.
And like I say, if they don't decide, there's no forcing them, because it's not going to work.
No.
Absolutely, it's not. Reba, it's always great to have you on.
Thank
I'm
you.
just so sorry that we always have to talk about this.
Me too.
But it's an awareness that our public needs to know about,
Yes, it
because
is.
most of us don't have that problem. And so we're not aware that there are others out there that do.
So many people.
And it's a community that is increasing,
Yes,
not
it is.
decreasing.
Yes, it is. If it hasn't touched your family, you're very much in the minority.
I'm in the minority, and I'm so thankful that I am.
And I think some people haven't peeled back the layers far enough to see where it is, because almost every family is affected in some way. And it affects us as taxpayers.
Oh, yes.
And as business owners, so it does affect all of us.
It does. It does.
Even
Somewhere
directly or
through the
indirectly.
network, it does affect
Yes.
us. So, okay, it's ATSthebridge.org, or there's a Facebook, ATS The Bridge. Give them your phone number one more time.
423-464-4600.
And that would be, you go directly to Reba that
Yes.
way, and she can get you in touch with whoever you need to be in touch with.
Yes.
And that is great. Reba, thank you so much. It's always great to have you on. Like
Thank
I
you.
say, this is not a subject that we like to
No,
talk
it
about.
isn't.
But any time that you want to come on and share some more information with
Thank
us,
you.
you just message me like you do, and we'll get you on, and we'll
Thank you.
make the public aware.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you and all your committees doing.
Thanks.
Folks, don't go away. I'll be right back with some, I hope, some highlights of some things that are coming up that you may want to know about. And one of them will be the Addictive Brain on February the 21st. And I will keep reiterating that one to you over the time until we get to then. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Watch our commercials, support our sponsors, because they pay our bills, or Nancy's Neighborhood will not be here. So we'll be right back.